Hi, I'm Lindy Cat from Crochet and Geekery, and this is a tutorial on two basic US crochet crochet stitches, the chain stitch and single crochet. A couple things before I get started is that letting you know that the yarn I'll be working with today is a worsted weight yarn. My hook is a size G, 4mm. It does look a little different because I've augmented my hooks with polymer clay because I have a chronic pain condition. Make them a little more comfortable to use. And so let's get started. The first thing I do is tensioning my yarn, which I'll be using these two rings up here for it, but for those of you who don't have a ring, one method of doing it is to wrap it around your pinky finger like this, run it under your middle finger and ring finger, and bring it up over your index finger. So that'll keep it fairly well tensioned while still running nicely through your hand, and you don't have to grip and claw at the yarn, which can cause pain. I've kind of learned that the hard way. But one of the reasons I use these rings, which are a type of specialty ring because of the hooks here, is again to avoid as much pain as possible. And using them is just sliding under to hook into the thing. Same concept. Slides. And I like it a little bit more because of the fact that I can slide back without having to completely release and reposition my hands, the yarn in my hands. So after tensioning the yarn, next thing we're going to do is make a slip knot. And this is the basis starting of every crochet project. So you're going to hold your yarn like this. You have your working yarn on this side, tail over here, cross. Then I go ahead and twist it so that the tail is back where it started. Yarn over, and then pull through the loop that we've created, and slip knot made. So I'm going to move up and down as needed, depending on how loose or tight that you need to make it. Make your stitches. And the first thing up is going to be the chain stitch because that's our foundation for making our single crochet. And to do that, we're just going to yarn over and pull through, much like how we did our slip knot. And we're going to go ahead and make 21 chains. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oops, I lost some of my yarn there. 13, 14. This really does not want to work nicely. Work with me nicely. Now, because I had to go back, I'm going to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So here's our chain of 21 stitches. And if you don't have it very uniform, you might want to pull them all out, so frog them and practice. Because your ending result's going to look a little funny, but that's also perfectly fine as long as you're okay with it looking that way. All it means is that your tension wavered as you were making your stitches. Like, if you can see this stitch here is a little bigger than some of the ones that came after. after it. And that just means I had a looser tension when I was making that stitch than the ones after it. So to make our first single crochet, we're going to work in the second stitch back from the hook. So this is our first stitch. So we're going to be going into this one here. So first stitch, second. So we're going to go through it, yarn over, bring back a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. And that gives us our single crochet. And then we're just going to keep doing that across the entire foundation chain. And the reason we did 21 is so that we had 20 chains, 20 stitches. The 21st is for churning our piece. So we're just going to push through our stitch, yarn over, bring back a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. And we're just going to keep going until we reach the end. And then I can show you what I mean about churning. Because it's a little harder to grasp when it's your foundation. Okay, so at this point, you can leave this out and weave it in at the very end of a piece, but I prefer to weave in my ends as I'm working. So I'll lay it against where I'm working, and then I will proceed to make a single crochet as normal, and that traps my yarn end against my piece, effectively weaving it in as I'm working. Weaving in can be a bit of a pain sometimes, which is why I prefer to do it while I'm working whenever possible. So the chain stitch is done at the start of most projects, and also is done to create like a lace effect. And the single crochet tends to be used a lot in amigurumi, which is I believe the Japanese word for stuffed animals. Might not be an exact translation, but that's the type of project that you're doing if you're making amigurumi. Alright, so we're going to turn the piece over so that we're again, and as you can see, I crochet right-handed. If you're doing this left-handed, it's going to be different. While I'm mostly ambidextrous, crocheting left-handed is not something I can do very well because I'm not practiced at it. So, cannot show you how that works. So, we're going to crochet one, so chain one, and that becomes our turning chain, which gives our position the right height for doing another row of single crochet. Because otherwise our row end has a bit of a slight slant down. I've been doing a lot of a different stitch, so that's why you keep seeing me trying to yarn over before I go through the stitch. I've kind of gotten into muscle memory trying to do that stitch, and it's like, no, that's not what I'm doing right now. Showing you guys the single crochet. I'll get to that stitch in another video. All right, and almost to the end. Again, it's just push through, and then when you're doing the second row, you want to make sure you go through both loops of the previous row so that you don't make a ridge. So you want to make sure you go through the first loop, the front loop, and the back loop when you're making an additional row. Going through the foundation, you really only have one. It's really hard to go through both loops. All right, and then let me count, make sure I have the right number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, yep, that's what I thought. This one is a stitch I need to do. It got a little tight. 20. And then I'm just gonna fasten off. Its only purpose is to show you guys how to do. There. So here is a strip of 20 single crochet, and again, that is US terminology. UK single crochet is a different stitch. It's done differently. So you can see that you end up with kind of a V on top, kind of like the knit. And then this is the side where it looks like. I'll show you the side so that you don't have the tail looking at you. So yeah, that's been the chain stitch and single crochet. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Did it help you? What other stitches do you think I should do? And or what other tutorials have you been looking for? And until next time, happy crocheting, and please remember to always take care of yourselves. Bye.